Mahai kako, everyone. Welcome to episode 50, I believe, of the Moana Nui podcast. My name is Moana. I am the founder and host here of the show. I am also the author of the Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea children's book series, a cute Hawaiian story, the editor for the Wildcard Chronicles comic book series, and publisher here at Burning Spear Comics. And most importantly, I am an advocate and a champion for the AI, AA, and HPI community. Thank you guys for joining us. And tonight, as always, I'm joined by my wonderful and beautiful sis, Dana.
Aloha, everyone. I am Dana, for those that may or may not know me. I am a cosplay con staff photographer and event photographer. You've seen some of my photos with MomoCon, DragonCon, Anime Week in Atlanta, and also featured with DC Comics. I'm also a voice actor, event planner, and a whole lot more. And now I'm going to hand it back over to my lovely co-host, the beautiful Moana.
So silly when you do that. Alrighty, so tonight I'm really excited to have this wonderful, talented musician and brother all the way from the islands of Hawaii. Tonight, our guest is Kamakakēhau Fernandez. And if anyone could be described as having Hawaiian heart and soul, it would be Ryan Kamakakehau Fernandez. Born in Little Rock, Arkansas, this 6-week-old African-American infant was adopted by Auntie Robyn Naeʻole and brought to the shores of Maui, Hawaii. It is here that his new family and home shaped Kamaka into one of Hawaii's newest and most refreshing musical talents. Kamaka's education played a huge part in his love and appreciation for Hawaiian culture and music. He is a graduate of the Hawaiian Language Immersion Program, Kula Kaiapuni, at Kekaulike High School, and is proud to be a fluent speaker of the Hawaiian language. Ola KaʻŌlelo Hawaiʻi, let the Hawaiian language live on, is Kamakakēhau's motto for the language of the land. He has been featured in Disney's animation film Moana that was remade in the Hawaiian language, in which he portrays the role of TAMATOA, the shiny crab, which is one of my favorite characters. Kamaka has performed on numerous prestigious stages within the state of Hawaii, including the Ritz-Carlton, Kapalua's Celebration of the Arts, the Castle Theater at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center, Oahu's Keiki Hula Festival, the Tahiti Fete, and the Grand Hyatt Kauai, home island, and many stages in the continental US and Japan. Kamakakēhau was one of the featured performers on the 2004 Aloha Festival's Falsetto Contest winners, and he was also the 2012 winner of the 4th annual Kanikapila Grill Talent Search. He's also worked with multiple Nā Hoku Hano Hano Awards winning producers, which is essentially Hawaii's version of the Grammys, on his debut solo album, Wahi Mahalo. I love that one too. And then he also won the 2013 Nā Hoku Hano Hano Award for Extended Play EP. So with all of that said, I hope you guys are excited as I am to meet Kamakakēhau. Let us welcome him onto the show.
Aloha. 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 Hey, can I open up with an oli? An oli
Please.
Aloha?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
O nauna I kahala me kalehua. He halele hua noia na kanoe. O kaunoia e no inei e li anei hoi o ka hiki mai. Hiki mai o ko hiki puno me ke aloha. Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e. Elina.
Mahalo nui. That's so beautiful. I love when you guys chant. It's just like, wow. You just take me home.
That's how, and we're so lucky we have these, these platforms that we can still, and fortunate, I should say, that we can still stay connected this way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Mahalo nui for that.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so let us start off. I'm really excited that we have you tonight because we get to talk and touch a little bit upon the Hawaiian concept of hanai, which is how we adopt members into a family. So, can you tell us a little bit about your origin story? Where were you born, and how did you form your connection to Hawaii?
Oh, mahalo. Well, this story really is the story of my makuahine, or my mother, and I should say my parents, because even though they divorced at a young age, it was both their aspiration to have a child. And being that my mother could not naturally, carry a child, it became her heart's desire, and hence my middle name being Kamakakēhau. Makakēhau translates the heart's desire. So it was the, taking me really way far back. So the deacon of the Catholic Church was the one who traveled around, and when he came home to Maui, he made this announcement that there were kids that needed to be adopted, and there were a few, and they all went to wonderful families as well. But my mother didn't know who she was getting. It was a surprise, She just was like, it didn't matter. And I think that's a beautiful thing about Hawaii. In my experience anyway, that it is such a melting pot first and foremost, and although the culture is honored, it's not discriminated in certain ways, and it wasn't for me. As to how we see it in the mainland, where with Black, African American cultures and such. So at 6 weeks old, Hawaii became my home, and I was immersed in everything that my mother wanted me to be a part of. I was fortunate enough to be in the immersion, and during this time, it was a renaissance of education systems being built. The Kula Kaiapuni. So I believe in 92, 93, around there, is when more schools started to become available to study strictly Hawaiian language. So like any other keiki o Hawaii, a Hawaiian child, I just had all of these experiences of singing and dancing hula and hoiva'a, canoe paddling as well. So I'm truly a keiki o ka'aina.
I always wanted to get into hoiva'a, but never. I was more like, I did hula, and then I got into sports. So unfortunately, I think at the time we didn't have too much like hoiva'a in terms of like canoe clubs and organized stuff. But that's beautiful. Big muscles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big
we
muscles,
certainly
nice
work.
hand.
and listen, and lungs too, because we had to travel from Maui and in between all of the islands, from Maui to Kaho'olawe, sometimes Maui to Lanai. So we really put in the work.
Oh man, that must have been some beautiful views, like to be on the Va'a and be traveling between the islands. Like, oh man.
Yeah, it definitely was, especially, when we got to look. If it was a nice, calm day, other than that, we're trying to fight 12-foot waves, and it's like, oh God, let this not be my day, please.
That's so true. But what a wonderful way to kind of connect to our, our voyaging ancestors. So beautiful.
Yes, definitely. Now, of course, as Moana was reading your introduction, I would love to know, how did you find your love for the ukulele and your art of falsetto singing?
So, in Hawaiian immersion, we are singing singing and chanting from the moment we, before we step into the classroom to the time it's, we leave. And I want to say about in 5th grade, I was probably about 7 or 8. And that's when I first picked up the ukulele. We had that opportunity, and the ukulele is actually a Portuguese instrument, but over time, when the plantation workers came in and so on and so forth, all of this stuff was introduced. But it was in elementary when I started playing. And then as I got older, I seen other people playing the ukulele, but it wasn't really, I didn't find it I wasn't so enamored with it yet. And then high school came around. There was the, what we call the brown bags to stardom. And this is the high school competitions, throughout the islands. And I was like, hey, let me go ahead and give it a try. And the rest kind of became history from there. And I did enter with an original composition as well, when I thought I could really write. But it was just, pull them from this tree and pull them from that cloud and then go.
He took me down memory roads with the brown bags to stardom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many talented musicians coming out of there. One of my friends from high school, he's still, playing too. Like I remember him always with his ukulele, and you couldn't separate him. And I just love that he still continues his musical journey today.
Yeah. And then going into the falsetto portion, I guess it happened kind of by accident, really. I was just outside in the courtyard, and as simple as this will sound, I was just stretching, and I had heard this style before. I didn't know what it was called, but the breaking of the voice, you have that, and I happened to just be stretching, and then a friend of mine was like, hey, that was pretty good. And she comes from a musical family, so she knew what she was talking about. And she said, hey, you should try singing like that. I said, really? What am I singing? All I'm doing is stretching. And so we ended up going on a class trip, and it was just a moment where we had to showcase, and everybody kind of asked me to sing. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try and learn a few songs, and then that just continued from there. Till 2003 came around. There's a very well-known music icon, legend, is the Ho'opi'i brothers, and the Ho'opi'i brothers come from Kahakuloa, Maui, and I then listened to their style and continued to imitate that. And another falsetto singer is a woman by the name of Chanoa Keawe, and I listened to that. So a lot of my teachings was just all by ear. I didn't have any, traditional or classical training with music, but I think it's just kind of in the genes, Yes. So when you apply, you go. Yes. So the rest kind of became history, and the more I practiced, and here I am today, being able to share around the world.
Nice. So beautiful. I'm so glad you brought up Auntie Chanoa Keawe, because she is a falsetto legend in Hawaii. And you had the honor to actually perform alongside her. What does it mean to you to bridge the musical connection to our kupuna and share one of Hawaii's cultural treasures with the world?
Hawaii is all about storytelling and making connections. And so, for me to be able to have that as part of my journey to honor the past, because with honoring the past, that's what will carry me through the future and be able, continue that interaction. But of course, performing alongside Auntie Chanoa Keawe was very magical. I was nervous. I was very nervous, and sometimes when you're behind that mic, if you get called up, you better go and you better be ready. And if you're not ready, don't stop, keep going. These are things that I had to learn. It was very endearing though when she happened to have been the judge of the falsetto contest this year in 2003, and I believe it was anyway, she was one of them, and she was so honest And at the time when I shared this with my family, we kind of were all, taken back, because they're like, well, would she really tell you that after you just won the contest? Well, what she said was, good job, congratulations. That was good, but not that great. She said that was good, but not that great. But, that was, constructive criticism, and because she comes from that traditional style, and the song that I chose to sing was a traditional song, but with a little bit of my own flair, and maybe I'll do that today. But I just took it as constructive criticism, and that's allowed me to grow even more and understand the different nuances of traditional style, and the areas where I can play a little bit and or just keep it as the song has originally been composed. It was very special. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Now, as someone that doesn't match with the image many have of Hawaiians, I personally have dealt with people not understanding the range of beauty in the people of Hawaii. How have you dealt with people from the continent and other places that may question your ties to Hawaii?
This is the reaction. It's like, wait,
yes.
What are you doing? Where to do that at? And I started playing in Waikiki, and believe me, it really, really, got me into a place where I was very self-conscious about myself, because I didn't know how to explain, other than, I'm a product of my environment. And, I just, this is a part of who I am. And so, it is interesting though. And as I, progressed and continued through, along my journey, it was like, okay, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and kind of bridging the cultures,
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because you just gave me an idea, because we were talking the other night about having a future panel on talking about people who are part Black, African American, and part Hawaiian, and which side you relate to. So we're definitely going to pull you onto that panel. That's for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be a good conversation.
Yeah. Because I already told Moana, I said, when we have that panel, I'm going to have my church fan, and I'm going to be swaying. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Yes, child. Yes. Yeah. But Hawaii. I'm sorry. Hawaii has so much rich history with actually African Americans coming to, when slavery, stopped, if you will. I mean, we think about these times, you got to think, has it really stopped? But anyway,
a form of it.
There were there were a lot of people that were involved with things like the Royal Hawaiian Band. They became leaders of the Royal Hawaiian Band, and educators and all of that. So to know that the connection, I did my ancestry, as I am also on this journey to connect myself a little bit more culturally to my African American side, and as far as Africa. So I did my ancestry.com, and it was very interesting because it did say on there 1% Polynesian. And I said, what? How can this be here? And then I just was like, oh, well, no wonder I'm here then. That it all makes sense.
Right. It's coming full circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
The mana always brings us where we need to.
That's right. So, as you know, when we talked, back a couple weeks, months, whenever it was now, about having you come on, one of the cool things that you told me was that you had played the voice of Tamatoa, which is the crab in the Moana movie when
The
they did
shiny
the
crab.
yes, the shiny
Yes.
crab, which oh my
Yes.
gosh, I loved him so much.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience and what did it mean to you to play the character in like a movie that really brings the Polynesian and Pacific Islander culture to the forefront.
Oh, the experience was amazing. You know, when you think about, you know, as we go through our lives, we always have these aspirations and hopes to one day do something, and that was one of them for me. It was like a dream come true, a check, you know, off the list of things that I've always been wanting to do. And I heard that you do voiceovers too, Miss Dana. So I want to connect there as well. But it was just wonderful because being a student of the Hawaiian language, and we were the very last stop, if you will, of languages that they wanted to translate. And so it's really a yay for Hawaii because there was a time where Hawaiian people could not speak their own language.
Yes.
And so to be able to have this, you know, on a featured film was just awesome. It's a hooray for Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. So now, of course, I have to ask, from the whole voice acting experience of being on it and getting a chance, as Moana says, to voice this character from this major film. You know, how was that voiceover experience of being pulled in to not only speak in the native Hawaiian tongue, but give that mana, that energy to that character in your own flair?
Mm. Mm. Well, I was fortunate enough to have worked as part of a play, an all Hawaiian language casted play that tells the story of Hi'iaka, who is the sister of Madame Pele, and her journey. And so this whole entire play, as I mentioned, was done in Hawaiian language, and we had to do a lot of things like, you know, my particular character was the Mo'o god. Mo'o is the Hawaiian name for the giant lizard. And for each island, the lizards, these giant lizards were the protectors of specific valleys. And this was the stories in Hawaiian culture. And so we had to go into the forest and, you know, kind of embody these characters. So my audition video for Moana, I went down to the beach and I was just me, myself, and I with my you know, my iPhone, and I was, you know, imitating as if I was a crab, but singing. I didn't have the translations yet for this particular song, and so I had to kind of just make it up as I knew. So fortunately, I knew Hawaiian, so I just was on the crab by the ocean, I mean on the beach, on the sand, filming myself as if I was a papa'i. Yeah. And then it came time for the audition, when I had to actually get in front of the camera and be like, you know, even more expressive. And I was like, oh, this is it's out of my comfort zone. Sorry, I'm the only one, so so I was totally out of my zone, but I just kept watching the actual film and imitating the mannerisms that Tamatoa had, and flipped it with the Hawaiian language. So it was pretty cool. And then having to match what was already done, right? Already done in English to these new Hawaiian words. So it was a lot of emphasizing. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear. I don't know. Can you guys hear all the noise in the background?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's the beauty of being virtual. You have the leaf blowers, you have the people doing
So
cutting the
embarrassing.
grass.
Yeah.
Trust me,
Yeah.
there's a range we all deal with, even when we're at our jobs.
This is the new normal.
Exactly.
That's right. Oh
Thank
man.
you.
Uh,
But
go ahead,
go
Dana.
ahead, Moana.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for those who are, so you did the Moana movie in Olelo Hawaii, but for those who want to connect and learn to speak Olelo Hawaii,
Yes.
what do you suggest to help them learn and begin their journey?
Well, when I have time, um, I usually offer classes, but um, YouTube has everything. You type in Hawaiian language, and you can find a plethora of wonderful educators, wonderful educators that are teaching basic Hawaiian language. We have things like Duolingo. I heard Duolingo actually is a very good resource that people can try to follow along with that. And then I also have created, so in the downtime when we were on the lockdown, I created a little character, and he's also on Instagram too. So if you go to s.kaimi, so that's KAIMI, and this character, his name is Simon. Simon Kaimi na awao o keao nani la ea ea ea. And so when I was fooling around on my Snapchat, I found I guess on Snapchat it's called Nerd, the one with the character with the glasses, where it has that filter with the glasses, and then the alteration of the voice. So I went ahead and I had some fun with that, and I thought of because the voice is so high, I thought of Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes.
He was the smart one, right?
Yes.
He was a smart one, and so. And then the kaimi na awao is to seek knowledge. This was his name, to seek knowledge. And then that extra part, la ea ea ea, is because every Hawaiian name goes on and on and on and on, and that's what that is. Just to kind of give you guys a little, synopsis on his character. But you go to s.kaimi, and I've done a whole thing that speaks on how to pronounce the syllabary. We know this as the hakalama.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Please go check that out. Yes, you were like the life whenever I was like, oh my God, yes, Kaimi is coming on again. And it was just like such a memorable way to like remember the pronunciations and things. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend that, you guys. You will enjoy it, trust me.
Now, and I'm glad you gave that, because as you know, I know Moana has gone, she started her journey, and I'm just starting mine, of a lot of us trying to get connected to the language of Hawaii, because that, as you mentioned before, so many of our ancestors were told not to speak the language, and a lot of it has been lost. That what little I do know is just what I still remember as a kid from doing the hula and entertaining people coming for the luau's and stuff, and just saying the basic phrases, and that's about the extent I remember. So it's like, all right, Moana started her journey of learning more, and it's like, all right, now I'm starting mine, and this helps me, but I know others that are watching this who want to get connected to the language, to know what options we have out there, because I know when I was younger, there wasn't many options out there for you to learn. You could definitely learn the hula and do the hula, and that was your extent. So now, of course, as Moana gave in your introduction, you have performed on many stages around the world, including the Castle Theater at the Maui Art and Cultural Center, along with the stages in Japan and around the continental United States. Tell us about your most memorable performance and why it was so endearing to you.
Thank you. Well, when I go home to Maui, the Maui Arts and Culture Center, my career really started off working at the airport. So I had many moments where I would see these local Hawaiian music entertainers coming in, and they'd probably have a show there at the Maui Arts and Culture Center, and they kind of knew, that I was the guy. I'm going to just be very transparent, but the popolo guy or the black guy that sings Hawaiian music. So this was the catch. This was the draw for everybody. Like, oh wow, this is rare. We don't see this. So there was a group by the name of Hapa, and this was Barry Flanagan, and at the time it was Nathan Aveao. The original of this group was Kaniali'i. I know his last name was Kaniali'i, but anyway, they had invited me. They just got off of the plane from their California tour, and then they had a performance that very evening when they came in. So they were like, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and come and sing a few songs?" And I said, "Really? Okay." So I called my mom. She's like, "Okay, I'll take you." I couldn't drive yet. I called my boss. I said, "Boss, I gotta go. I gotta go." We're calling this an early night because I just got invited to go and play with this world-renowned group, Hapa, at the Maui Arts and Culture Center. And the experience on the stage, though nerve-wracking, it was magical. It was magical to be and confirming as well, because being this black, child from Hawaii, people don't know how to connect, right? I mean, they look at you and they expect one thing. But when something else comes out, puka mai kawaha, something else comes out of the mouth, it's like, oh wow, okay, there's something a little more to this. And why I do what I do is because I find it necessary and a kuleana, a responsibility for me to honor, as I mentioned, my kupuna, to ancestors, honor my family, especially my mother, just took me in and raised me with unconditional love. So this is why I do what I do. And so that was one. And then when I went to, of course, DC was really great too. Everywhere I go is a magical experience. I remember one show, which was actually in Portland, for the first time. Usually when we go away from home, it gives us an opportunity to really show up and show out, And so I thought I was Michael Jackson, in the moment, and I decided to do a little, acoustic thing. So I unplugged everything, and we were in this theater, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of it right now, but the moment was me sitting at the edge of the stage, and I just decided to sing a traditional Hawaiian song, and just really engage with the people. Because when you're on the stage and you're behind the mic, it's like the connection, it's there. People are reacting, but I just felt like really being there, right in these people's face, and sharing songs that some of these people may have remembered from when they were growing up, and they had to leave Hawaii for whatever reason, bring that to them, and we can share that space and that moment together.
That's beautiful. And it's actually a great segue. So, I know we talked about potentially hearing some mele from you tonight. So I think it's a great time for you to take it away with whatever you want to bless us with.
Yes, please.
Sounds good. So, so this song is speaks of a beautiful waterfall, and this is the song that I sang for the people during this time. And this waterfall is known as Akaka Falls. It's over there on the big island. Yeah. Hopefully my string doesn't slack because I just, my A string bust, so I had to just get it rechanged yesterday. So here we go. Mahalo. Thank you. Mahalo, JB.
Yes, this is exquisite.
Yes.
So, one of my favorite songs on your Wahi Mahalo album is Malama Mau Keakua. Like something about that song is so special. Can you tell us a little bit about what that song is about?
Oh yeah. So Malama Mau Keakua means to cherish or embrace God forever. And in Hawaiian culture, even though it was the Christianity was introduced a little later in the Hawaiian history. For myself and my family, Akua is always number one. Yeah, God is always first in all the things we do. And so there was a moment in my life where I continued, as it continues to be, but I continued to search for myself, to find myself and where I belong and, what am I supposed to be doing in life? And so these words came to me. And it says, Na Yesu I ha'awi mai Ia'u I ke aloha. Ke aloha pau'ole. So it's God that, gives me all this love, that is introduced me to all of these people, the people in my life, the experiences that I have. And, this is love, And the second verse comes out of the Bible, which is, Po mai ka'i ka po'e, pololi a make vai no ka pono. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. And, these are important values and things that help us progress in life. And we can pay honor to what we've been blessed with.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So, Malama Mau Kia Kua. Should I be singing that too today?
Sure, yeah. I would love to hear it live. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and the chorus is Kia Kua Hauʻoli Oli E. Yeah. It brings joy to my heart. It brings joy to my spirit. Hauʻoli Oli. Piha kana'au. It fills my spirit. And then the last line, Kia Kua e malama mawai. God that we cherish forever. So, and I decided to also do this song in my regular voice, or my original voice, rather than falsetto. There's a little falsetto in there. But something like this. Na Yesu ha'awi mai Yahu Ke aloha pau'ole Mai po'ina tapo I ka hana'ana no ka honua he kulike ia I ka pu'u mai ke akua hauʻoli oli e ke akua piha kana'au ke akua e malama mauai e malama mauai o mai ka'i ka po'e o hololi a make vai no ka pono I maona I ke akua ke akua hauʻoli oli ke akua piha kana'au ke akua e malama mauai e malama mauai e malama mauai Mahalo kia kua no nā po mai ka'i a pau I ha'awi aku ia. Thank you, dear Lord, for all the blessings that have been bestowed upon us. Oh, yeah.
Oh, mahalo nui. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Someone, Rebecca commented, Kamakakēhau is amazing and has the most heavenly le'o ki'e. So mahalo for sharing. Yes.
Mahalo nui.
So another one, like I feel like maybe we can play this one. I don't know if you're ready for this one, but another one that I love on the album is, I mean, I love them all really. There was a point in time after you came and did the concert that like that's all I played in the car. It was Kamakakēhau, back and forth on the commute. Like that's how I like started to memorize all the words. I'm like, oh, brother, yeah. But He Mele no Hina, that one is beautiful too.
Thank you. So yeah, He Mele no Hina is a song for Molokai. And I don't know if Kanoilani is on this one too, so shout out to Kanoilani. But the classmates and I, we actually went to Molokai for the Makahiki Festival, which is a time where we celebrate fun, games, and Hawaiian arts and crafts and such. But we got to go on a little tour to Halawa Valley, which is on the far east side. It was a beautiful drive, probably about a 2.5-hour drive. And then we get there. We're so excited because it's hot. And we're like, okay, we definitely want to get to this waterfall. And Mo'oula is the name of that waterfall. And then the uncle that takes care of this place, he said, okay, well, we got to hike into the back. Well, that was another 2 hours. So it was like, oh my gosh, okay. But it was a wonderful experience because actually at one time there were many Hawaiian families that lived in this village. And so you can still see today some of the rock structures of these particular homes. And there was a time where there was a humongous tidal wave that actually swept out that whole village. But still today you can see some of the homes and you just reminisce of this beautiful area. And the families that once lived there. And also Pala'au is an area that I speak about in this song, which is a scenic lookout to Kalaupapa Peninsula, a place where many people who had Hansen's disease and leprosy, they were all sent out to this particular section of the island of Molokai. But it's just so peaceful. And we love honoring elements. We love honoring the winds, the rains, even a specific rock. So Nana Hoa is a name of a chief who actually came from Oahu, but he chased the young woman all the way to Molokai. And so today, down this path, there's a phallic rock that tells the story of Nana Hoa in this area of Pala'au. So, as I mentioned, it's always about honoring the elements and kupuna. So, song goes something like this. Aia hoi I Molokai ka hekea o nā pua me nā le maka mai e hali ali a mai ne aloha e ina Molokai nui a hina Aia I Halawa Kaulana o Mo'oula Kutakani Ike a Kawa E ho'owali I ka wai me ka Moana Molokai nui a hina Aia I Pala'au Kawa I ka pua ka leo o Nana Hoa olu mai Ka hui hui E nei ke hoia ka lau papa Molo ka inui a hina Haina ia mai ana kapuana Aloha hina Molo ka inui a hina Mahalo. So the more I play this song, my earpiece fell out, but the more I play this song, I also realize Hina is actually the goddess of the moon. And in Hawaiian culture, we, when it comes to balance and learning to balance ku is your masculine side and Hina is your feminine side. So, there were a lot of women in my life that played big roles to who I am today. So I dedicate that to them and the beautiful people, of course, of Molokai. So thank you.
Mahalo nui. I love hearing the insights, when people, like what inspired the song, what was going on in your life at the time. And that's so wonderful to hear the backstory.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, like when you're doing concerts and performances out and about in the public, what is your like most favorite song to perform?
It was one of the ones that I say Hemele no Hina and Akaka Falls usually. Yeah. So we covered that. There's some Alika is another one too. I mentioned earlier about Genoa Keave, so I can never claim to be as good as she was, but there's a particular song she did where she holds the note for a period of time. Like for her, she probably could hold it a minute or even a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So nowhere near that, but we love having fun with it.
Right on. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, buckle up. Bring out the stopwatch.
Alika. It was so beautiful. I love your range of your voice. You know, that's one of the
Yes.
things when you came, and I was like, oh, he can do all of them. Rah.
Thank you.
Yes, such a wonderful talent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful thing for me to be able to, you know, I mean, I know that a lot of the songs, this is why it's important for us to tell the backstories, because though you cannot understand the language, it's about feeling. Yeah, it's about feeling and connecting, and sometimes there are metaphors that are, you know, written within this song that connects us all as human beings. And more importantly, just the sound that comes out is the healing.
Right.
So it's a wonderful thing. I thank you for allowing me to share that and allowing me to bless and heal us all today.
Yes, mahalo. I'm glad you brought that point up though, in terms of like not being able to understand the language, but still feeling it like in our na'au. I've noticed people say that, you know, like watching YouTube videos of whether it be, you know, musical performances like you do, or watching Haka or watching Merry Monarch, you know, like so many comments where like, I have no idea what they're saying, but whatever it is like, I feel it, you know?
Yes.
And that's why I love music, because it can be a universal language, even if you don't necessarily understand the words.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So mahalo nui for sharing your wonderful talent with us tonight.
Yes. Thank you.
For this particular segment anyway, because you're going to join us for our panel later, so I'm definitely excited to hear your thoughts on that as well. But for people who are listening right now, where can they follow you online and purchase your music and learn more about what you're creating now?
Awesome. Well, most of the music platforms, from iTunes to Spotify, you know, you can go ahead and look up Kamakakēhau Fernandez. Instagram is KKF_music. Twitter is @kanilele. Right now, you know what? I'm actually, why I'm hesitating right now is because I've sold out of all my albums finally.
Oh, right on.
I've had them for years, so that's a great thing, right? So I don't know if the actual makers will send them to you directly, but just go ahead and visit kamakakehau.com and yeah, stay in touch. We'll get you the music somehow.
Right on. Sounds good. Alrighty. So mahalo nui Kamaka for being on our show tonight. And thank you so much to our listeners, whether you're watching live or on the replay. As you can see, here on the Moana Nui podcast, we bring diversity on so many levels. So tonight you got to enjoy some of our musical traditions of Hawaii and learn a little bit about the stories that are behind the songs. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and particularly on Twitch. We're really close to hitting a milestone and becoming an affiliate on Twitch. So if you could go to twitch.tv/Moana Nui podcast, give us a follow. We would really appreciate it. We'll send you, you know, like if you send us an email at moananuipodcast.com, let us know that you subscribe to our Twitch. We will send you a digital mahalo nui, small kind gift from us over here. And yeah, definitely. Like, I hope you guys are enjoying it. You can catch our podcast on all the different, you know, podcast platforms, whichever one is your favorite: Apple, Google, iHeart, Spotify, all the fun places. And on behalf of Dana and myself, we hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Please come back in 30 minutes. We will be back on with a wonderful panel of guests where we are going to talk about the nuances between appropriation and appreciation of cultures. So join us for that conversation. I can't wait to get into it. But
yes, it is.
Yes, I'm excited. I love these conversations. But for the time being, take care, everybody. Malama pono, ahui ho. Until we see you again. Bye-bye.